Good morning. Today is August the 6th, 2025, and this is episode 3 of My Voice. I'm Katie Fitzgerald, and just to remind you of the purpose of this video log is threefold. First, I'm using this as a tool to teach myself to speak up and speak out and have opinions, and to know that my opinions have worth and that I matter. Trying to correct some lessons learned as a child. Those lessons basically were be seen and not heard, and your opinion is not the most important in the room, which, that's still true. However, it is also important for every individual to have self-worth and to realize that their point of view does matter, and it is one of the opinions in the room. May or may not be the most important in the room. So I'm trying to speak up and speak out and have a voice. Second purpose is for me to talk a little bit about getting through some tough times, particularly in my business, and how I'm learning to separate myself from business failures, if you will, and not letting those failures or issues consume me and define me. And third is to talk a little bit about my journey with breast cancer and the things that I've learned through that experience. And as I've said a few times now, every day I'm going to pull a topic out of a grab bag. And today's topic, interestingly enough, is dealing with setbacks. And boy, I've had my share of those in the last few years. And I've learned quite a bit about how to deal with them. Probably the most significant setback was when I got my cancer diagnosis. It wasn't the cancer diagnosis alone that was the biggest setback. It was how it stacked up in a mountain of other issues I was having in my life. So issues such as my husband's ongoing health issues, issues with my business not succeeding, and the stress of not being able to cover my bills, or even missing payroll was a huge stressor. Financial stress is, for me, one of the worst. And even though it's been 12 years since I lost my sister, that is an ongoing stressor for me. I lost my mother in 2018, so 7 years now. So, all these things kind of built up and came to a head last summer when I got that cancer diagnosis, and I was just feeling paralyzed by all of those issues kind of coming together. And the hardest thing for me at that time was just living in the moment and not letting myself go swirling down the drain of, worrying about all those issues. because that is so easy to do when you're stressed. I mean, your sleep is interrupted, you have bad dreams about it, you know, so many things. You out of control, really, when stress is that bad. So, believe it or not, the thing that helped me the most in living in the moment was jigsaw puzzles. Kind of funny, but if you think about it, what are you doing when you're doing a jigsaw puzzle? You're pretty focused on finding the right piece for the spot that you're trying to fill, and you're really, really living in the moment. And I'm telling you, I did jigsaw puzzle after jigsaw puzzle to get me through that time. And it calmed my nerves, kept me focused on the present moment, gave me a sense of accomplishment when I completed each one, gave me the relief of destruction when I dismantled each one, and most of the time you ended up with a pretty picture that was nice to look at. So if you're not doing jigsaw puzzles, I highly recommend that you look into it. There were a few other things kind of a similar nature that I took up during that time. Every morning I would do Wordle and connections and strands and the mini crossword, all New York Times puzzles that I would do on my cell phone. And same kind of thing. It was just helping me stay in the moment and not go spiraling down. I also picked up a few crossword puzzle books. Again, same kind of thing. So, in moments of terribly high stress, I think we all need to find ways to stay in the moment and not let that stress and those issues get the better of us. So that's my advice for the day. Thanks for listening. Again, if you have questions, comments, or suggested topics for me, please reach out at KatieFitz, that's KatieFitz.MyVoice@gmail.com. And I look forward to tomorrow's topic. Have a great day.